President Trump is now ordering a review of the Smithsonian museums, accusing the institutions of focusing too much on, quote, how bad slavery was. He made that comment in a social media post yesterday. The president says he will subject the museums to the exact same process his administration has conducted at universities, which have faced federal funding cuts over DEI and anti-Semitism concerns. Trump's comments come 1 week after his administration told the museums they would be required to adjust any content the White House finds problematic in, quote, tone, historical framing, and alignment with American ideals ahead of the country's 250th anniversary next year. Earlier this year, NBC News found at least 32 artifacts once on display at the National Museum of African American History and Culture had been removed, including a book belonging to Harriet Tubman. White House officials said yesterday the president plans to extend his review of museums beyond the Washington-based institution, saying he will hold the Smithsonian accountable and, quote, then go from there. Where to begin, Reverend Sharpton? This is a whitewashing of history through the eyes of one man and one movement, telling a new story of our history as a country.
And what is so blatantly offensive about it is the inferences there was some good side to slavery. I mean, people were dehumanized, names taken, families broken up, made to labor with no wages. About 13 years ago, a reporter found my family roots, found out that my great-grandfather was a slave in Edgefield, South Carolina, owned by Alexander Sharpton. And it occurred to me, I'm named after my great-grandfather's slave master. Even my name is not my name. And on top of that, he was married to Anna Thurman, who was the cousin of Strom Thurmond. So you can't erase this. We're not talking about something that did not happen. How do you do American history without talking about that? Now, you can talk about how there were whites that fought as abolitionists and ended slavery. That's the good side.
That's in the museum.
Which is the emancipation. Yeah. But to act like to talk about slavery is bad is offensive and is also incorrect. And it's just as bad, and I've said this when blacks said they talk too much about the Holocaust. What happens, happens. We need to be honest about it, straight about it, and then talk about those that corrected it.
Gene, we have a Holocaust museum that talks about the Holocaust. So why wouldn't we have a museum that talks about American slavery, which I think throughout, at least the last 50, 60 years, people on all sides of the political spectrum have seen as the great original sin of American history.
Indeed it was. Indeed it is the great original sin of American history. Like Reverend Sharpton, I have a great-great-grandfather who was named, had to take the name of his owner in Charleston, South Carolina. So he became named Henry Fordham, which is the name, a name that came down in my family. Look, I mean, can we cut to the chase? Can we say this really looks like just naked, out-and-out racism? I mean, how do you take the side that there is that slavery is somehow up for debate, that there was a good side of it, or that we shouldn't just talk about the bad side of it? That is so outrageous, so ahistorical, and so totally offensive, and should be offensive, I think, to every American, because it also minimizes the story of how this nation abolished slavery, eventually took the Civil War, but we did get past that, and we expanded the meaning of all men are created equal. And the story of this country has been a continual expansion of that. That's something we should be proud of, but we should not hide the reason for the Civil War. But Elizabeth, we've never seen a president, to my knowledge, try to do this to our cultural institutions like museums. So what's going on?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I just wanted to say it is so stunning how the president is now, he is going places no president has ever gone with these kind of statements. They're so shocking. He's going beyond what he did in the first term with some of his statements about African countries. And he's just willing to say this publicly, that like as if it's perfectly acceptable, which is remarkable. What he's doing is trying to rewrite history in his vision for the 250th anniversary of America coming up, and he wants to be the host of that, and he wants his version of the story told. I've said this before. He can't wipe out this history that we have. It's part of all of us, as we have just talked about. Part of you, part of Al. It's part of everybody. He can't get rid of it. It's in our scholarship. It's in our universities and so many historians. So it just undermines the federal government. It undermines the Smithsonian, and it just makes them less relevant.
Yeah, I mean, just to reemphasize something you said, this is not African American history. This is American history. There is no American history without African American history.
Well, and look at the slide. You know, we in law school, we always were warned about a slippery slope. Look at the slippery slope here. We start with attacks against affirmative action. And then we go to attacks against, like, equality becomes a bad word. Diversity becomes a bad word, which, of course, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. Diversity is etched in marble in Washington, D.C. It is who we are. As Ronald Reagan said in his his farewell speech to America when he left the White House, it is diversity that makes us strong. It is a diversity that keeps us young. When we stop being diverse, we will stop being strong. And inclusion. Against inclusion, right? So we go from attacking affirmative action to attacking equality to attacking diversity, e pluribus unum, and now we're talking about exhibits. And by the way, it's not just him; it's his supporters on CNN. The permission structure is being sent around to say, oh, we shouldn't talk about how bad slavery was. What? I mean, it sounds like people that are like Holocaust deniers, right? No, we need to talk about it, and we need to talk about it, and Rev and I have talked about this a great deal, because the arc of the American story is extraordinary. What has happened in this country? You want to really tell a great story about 250 years? Talk about how a guy raised in abject poverty became a state legislator in Illinois in 1933 and spent the next 30 years dragging a racist, recalcitrant nation to emancipating Americans, Black Americans, and how you have Frederick Douglass at the same time, going at him, but at times also being an ally with him, and together they helped bring us out of that terrible chapter in American history. You can talk about, a guy like LBJ, who was opposed in many ways to the 1957 Civil Rights Act, transformed 7 years later to pass the most extraordinary civil rights legislation in 64 and 65. That's the story we want to tell. It is a story of a country that continues to move towards being a more perfect union. And sometimes we take some steps back. But it's an inspiring story for future generations to tell. We have to tell that story. It inspires future generations that no matter what we're going through, we can do better. We can be better.
First off, very well said. Any effort to obscure that story is shameful and, yes, racist. And this is part of a larger effort. I think Elizabeth hit it right in terms of the president looking towards the 250th anniversary next year. That's part of this. But we've seen this now for a few years. Books banned in Florida, efforts to not tell certain parts of the American story. We have seen Confederate monuments being restored throughout the country, including our nation's capital. Confederate generals getting their names back on military bases, although done cutely, too cute by half there. And we have seen also this president push and his administration lean on the Smithsonian to rewrite their impeachment exhibit. It is a retelling of the American story that is not who we are, and we will not be a better country if we ignore it. You have to learn from your history to grow from it, and ignoring what's come before is not a healthy sign for our present, our future, for our democracy.
I mean,
I'm so sorry.
yeah, I was just going to say to her, I mean, it's Stalinist, right? Just to erase things from history, to take them out of the history books, take people out of photos. And I have to just say, the African American History Museum in Washington Rev is one of the most extraordinary museums truly I've ever been to. I've taken my kids there. The only problem is you need 3 days to really appreciate all of it. And it's exactly what Joe said. It gets to the horrors of slavery, but then the courage of Americans to change and make us better, whether it was Frederick Douglass or Harriet Tubman, and then up through the civil rights movement. And yes, some of the white partners in that movement who had courage as well.
Who died? I mean, some died. And coming off of Joe's sermonette this morning, I'm a preacher, I can grade that, is that I want to say to my grandson, I have one grandson, 6 years old, next year, 250th anniversary, that the real glory of the story, we were 181 years in slavery when the country was formed. And we got here at Jamestown in 1619. But we went 100 years after 1863. Martin Luther King did I Have a Dream at the Lincoln Memorial, talking about a dream. 40 years later, we elected a black man president. So we went from
Tell that
property.
story.
That's the story.
As your congregation says, preach it. That's a story
That's the
we
story.
want to tell.
That's right. And that's the glory of that all of us want to tell our children. Yes, it was bad, but it was made good, and this is the story. But to whitewash the story is to deny those that paid the price to turn this country the way it should go.
Amen. I think we can all
And
say
all the people say
amen, Rev.
Amen.